Cocoon Spawn Girls, Chapter 37. After walking for what felt like the better part of the day, we finally began to see in the distance some semblance of a town. According to our blood map, we weren't too far from where the supposed castle should be. Clarice by now was no longer teary-eyed. By now she was back to her usual self, bickering with King over random topics. As the sun was beginning to set and the moon began to rise, I couldn't help glancing at it again. The moon. Was it watching me even now? I don't feel that intense fear like I had so long ago, but perhaps it's only when you have its sole attention. Who says a celestial can't watch multiple things at once? It doesn't matter anyway. What is good in worrying about something there's nothing I can do about? That dumb planet can watch me all it likes, not like there's anything to even see here. I wonder how Tiki's doing right now. It's late now, so surely by now she's learning about what had happened. I wonder if she slept in till noon from exhaustion. Maybe then she'd be panicked about sleeping so long before bursting out of her room, only to realize she doesn't recognize where she is. She'd see the faces of her old friends, and perhaps for a moment wonder if she'd gone back in time. Like everything after being kicked out of EGV was just some strange but wonderful dream. Bianca would approach her, maybe taking her hand, and then begin to tell her about what had happened. Tika would have to find out we handed her over willingly. I wonder if she'll be upset with us. Would she be able to see why we did it? We couldn't help her when she was in her spawn state. We're lucky they showed up and gave her meds when they did. I keep telling myself what we did was the right thing. Is there a reality where we not only stood against EGV, but also one where we could have won? Would there have been a purpose in us resisting until the very end? To Tiki there might have been. Just enough to show how badly we didn't want to lose her. I miss her. I wish she would hold me again, like how she would when we were in the bath or when I was scared. I have to keep telling myself I'll feel her touch again, that I'll hear those lips part and speak my name once again. It isn't goodbye forever. Surely she sees that too. Yet here we are chasing Aurelia, chasing Marzia, choosing them over her. This isn't even a direct hunt. We are hunting for a friend of a friend who might know where Aurelia is. We know where Tiki is. We know where EGV is. Yet we're choosing to follow a goose chase for Marzia. What would Tiki do if our roles were reversed? Would she choose to chase Marzia before she came to rescue me? I want to think she'd choose me. Is that terrible of me? Here I am chasing after Marzia. Yet I'd want her to do otherwise. I want her to want me. I want her to choose me. She's important to me. In this new life I couldn't have asked for a better older sister. Am I being a bad sister to turn my back and run after another girl? I want us to be together again, and yet I'm not putting in any effort to hasten our reunion. Marzia made her choice after all. She chose to leave us! Marzia didn't ask us to come after her. She left. She left us. She made a choice which she felt was best for her at that time. I can't begin to pretend I understand it, or would ever do the same. But I have to believe she had her reasons. I wish there had been another way for her to escape MGI, if this is what she really wanted. I wish she'd picked a method that didn't hurt me so much. Why must things be so complicated? Why is it that the life we had was so fleeting? I was happy there. I feel like I was truly living when we were all together. Did Marzia not feel the same way? Was our life together only a pale imitation for Tiki? What do they both think of me? I'm so afraid to know the truth. To know all truth is to open oneself to pain. Yet I also can't help craving it. We passed the town's barrier, entering inside. Another step and we've officially entered a spawn den other than our own. It doesn't feel all that different from entering into any other town. I'm not disappointed by the lack of anyone to attack us, but I admit I expected a larger reaction to our entry. You see anything castle-shaped? Clarice asked, glancing around us. It was dark now. If it was more than a couple 100 feet away, we might miss it blending in with the night sky. Perhaps it's best for you to retire for the evening, King spoke. A night's rest after so much walking thoroughly will improve your results. Clarice didn't raise a protest. Maybe we can find something fancy with a bath again. Her eyes widened. King, you don't think they shut the water off in spawn dens, do you? King crossed his tiny puppet arms, shaking his head. That info is beyond my knowledge, However, common sense leads me to believe our odds of a nice running water are far from good. Clarice took visible emotional damage as she shrunk down in defeat. My bath. I scribbled on my board, removing it from my bag. We'll just have to find some way to make a hot bath. Clarice pouts. I guess. Maybe we could use a barrel and then light a fire below? Or something? We have a bath you may use. Thank you. All of us turn our heads towards the words of an unknown voice. Not monotone, yet cold and without any energy. Just a few feet behind us stood a girl with large eyes staring back at us. She was wearing a winter cloak with a furry hood which her face peered out of. She was slightly taller than me, about Clarice's height. Her eyes, though, they were a light green, not neon, but still barely the color of the fallen. I readied myself for a fight. I could probably hit her with Fool's Night full force in less than a second if need be. Clarice turned around and took a step towards her. Hey, she put on an awkward smile. Might you be referring to a place we can stay? The hooded girl nodded. I was sent to get you, thank you. We were told you were coming, thank you. Clarice reacted. And who might have sent ahead to inform you of our arrival? The girl looked down, thinking. Then she looked back at us. The new lord of Marrowsville Den, thank you. I do not remember her name, thank you. Did Clarina inform this girl of our arrival? It can only really mean one thing. You must be the lord of this den, then. The one who lives in the castle? Yes, thank you. Dr. Igil is he, thank you. May we depart? Thank you. Clarice looked over to me to check my reaction. I gave her a nod. Yes, miss. Oh, Clarice bit the side of her finger. Apologies. We forgot to ask your name. How impolite. The girl's big eyes blinked at us. That is okay, thank you. My name is Mare, thank you. Mare? A nice name. Nice to meet you. And I am... You are with King, thank you. She then looked over at me. And she is... someone else, thank you. I felt hurt that I was just someone else. But then again, she saw Clarice as just King's plus one. We both have it rough, I suppose. Mare walked over to us. She held out one of her hands to each of us. Hand, please. Thank you. This seemed like a very odd request. However, I chose to not think too hard about it and just see where it leads. I took her hand. King took her other. Please also hold hands. Complete the circle. Thank you. Clarice and I joined hands as well. Now we all stood in a circle. Mare glanced at each of our hands as if to confirm we were really doing as she asked. Okay, thank you. Going down now. Thank you. Down? I didn't have time to even wonder about it before the ground below us began to look goopy and almost marsh-like. We began to slowly rotate as we sunk downward into the fluid ground. I was scared at first, not only to disappear below the ground, but also to get my nice clothes dirty. Thankfully, it didn't seem to actually be any sort of mud or anything that could touch me. It was as if we were sinking through the ground itself. I've seen this sort of thing before. A solid becoming liquid as something passes through. I look at Mare. This might be the portal user. I wasn't going to jump the gun. Just as Declarina was able to communicate with someone who knows how far away, Mare could also be doing something similar. There's a chance the portal user is simply told to teleport us to the next location. I'll have to investigate some more for concrete answers. My head drops down below the ground, passing through the goopy portal and thrusting all of us into wherever we've been taken to. Suddenly, I'm thrown upward as we emerge from the ground in an indoor room. Have we been transported inside the castle? Welcome, my esteemed guests! Entering into the room through a doorway, a gray-haired man greets us. I am home, thank you. Mare nods her head to the man. The man has a very friendly smile. Under different circumstances, I would have dropped my guard normally. Well, Mare, introduce me to our guests! Mare lowered her head, looking upward at him inquisitively, then raised an arm out towards the man. This is Dr. Agil, the ruler of this den. Thank you. Splendid! And these guests are? Mare looked down at her shoes, thinking. Then she thrust a finger at King. That is King. Thank you. She practically shouted out her thanks in confidence. Agil chuckled at her. Why, yes, I do believe it is. But did you remember to ask our guests their names? Back to her feet, her gaze returned. Clarice and I had just watched this exchange silently, not really sure when we should jump in. Apologies for her, Dr. Agil smiled towards us. She's working on being more sociable and polite.
Oh, it isn't a problem. Clarice shook her head slightly. Allow me to introduce us. I am Clarice, and this is Sophia.
She motioned towards me. I gave a slight curtsy, not going all the way. Dr. Egil placed his hands on his sides. Clarice and Sophia, as well as King too. It's splendid to make your acquaintance. He held out a hand to each of us, even shaking hands with King. I couldn't help thinking he had a strong handshake as we shook hands. Please, he began, motioning us to follow him. Allow me to show you to some rooms which you may stay in. Clarice smiled. Thank you. We began following Dr. Egil down a long hallway, which curled to the right. As we walked, Clarice continued talking.
We really appreciate this warm welcome after we've just shown up at your place of residence.
Don't mention it! He waved his hands around in the air. I hear you're not under MGI anymore, and that makes you Fallen. Us Fallen got to stick together as such. Help one another when we can.
Yes, it was true we weren't under MGI.
Currently? Fallen? I still don't want to believe it is so. We didn't go and eat anyone, so I can't cling to the hope that we can return to being proper magical girls. Although, I suppose our last fix was from a spawn, which was actually a magical girl clone. Perhaps that did make us Fallen, through and through. How bothersome.
Do you consider yourself among the Fallen, Doctor?
Clarice asked. Dr. Egil looked back, still with a warm smile. Most certainly! I may not have been a magical girl, but as ruler of a den, I can't help seeing myself being considered anything other than part of the Fallen.
But you're a doctor. Wouldn't that mean you're...
How about we get to that over dinner? I was planning a nice feast for tonight. I thought about the last time I ate normal food, immediately feeling ill. Dr. Egil seemed to pick up on that. Not to worry! The meal shall consist almost entirely of food enriched with that special chemical we all like so much. He gave me a wink as he said it.
You can bake it into food?
Clarice seemed to have never heard of this concept before. That surprised me. I'm getting so used to her practically knowing everything about everything. It's weird for her to be surprised now. Dr. Egil laughed. Why, unlike my former colleagues, I can spare the time to be a little more creative in how I deliver the medicine. You can only stand eating pills for so long before you go mad. He chuckled again.
Go mad, Mare randomly echoed.
Here we are. Dr. Egil motioned us towards a door. He pushed the door open without having to unlock any locks, revealing to us a large bedroom with a thin layer of dust. Make yourself comfortable. I'll send Mare to fetch you once the table is set. Clarice bowed slightly as I followed her lead.
Thank you again.
I nodded in agreement beside her. They depart down the hall, continuing onward. We closed the door and settled down on the two beds inside. Pretty thick room, King admired.
Very castle-y,
Clarice added weakly. The dust will thoroughly activate any allergies you might have, King chuckled while he noted all the dust. I wonder if there are other rooms they use for Aurelia and the others, I held up.
Or maybe no one else spent the night very often,
Clarice shrugged. I got up off my bed and wandered over to a dresser, opening each drawer looking to see if there was anything inside. There wasn't. Next I wandered over to the only other door in the room. It opened to a single-person bathroom with an odd shower. I turned the handle and water came out. I had to wonder based on how old everything looks. Suddenly, I'm back on the bed. I look over towards Clarice. Her eyes meet mine. We both look at one another as we process what just happened.
I guess Declarina must have needed to undo the last minute. I wonder why.
King shook his puppet head. Of course she must be making sure you're all still aware of each loop. Perhaps she's taunting you.
Or just wants to remind us she's still able to reach us if she wants to.
Forget her. She can't really do anything to us right now, I wrote, more trying to convince myself. Clarice and King shrugged. We're in a fallen castle. Their domain, really. I'm sure they could kill us if they really wanted to. I don't think Agile would. He seems less murdery.
I agree. Something seems different about him. But we barely know him. He might just be putting on a front. Don't let your guard down so easily.
I sat back down on my bed. Why do I feel so ready to trust him? Is it just because he's clearly an MGI doctor? That seeing that sort of person would put me back at ease? That I might be back in my nice life at MGI? I'm so dumb. I'll never get that if I let myself get swept by nice smiles and friendly faces. There was a knock at the door. Then it opened with Mare walking inside.
The meal is ready. Thank you. Follow me. Thank you. Let's go eat, Sophia.
Clarice grabbed my hand and pulled me off my bed, running, dragging me behind her as Mare nervously began picking up her pace as our guide as to not have Clarice just run past her. I wonder what sort of meal I get to eat. End of chapter 37.